faith, family, and the future of our community. Welcome to Ashonda at Large. I heard Yvette Carnell of Breaking Brown recently say something that just blew me away. She talked about how in the 1980s, that at the height of the crack epidemic, that while our people were suffering from this devastating nuisance within the community, that the media gave us the Cosby Show. And she talked about the illusion. She talked about the fantasy world that is put before us to create an illusion for the Black community that we are somewhere where we are not. And I had never ever considered it from that perspective, that the Cosby Show was used to lull us into an illusion, into a fantasy of affluency, so that we could not deal with our reality the way it was. It was a mind warping, if you will. Now, those of us who grew up in the 80s and we used to watch Cosby, we just used to love it. I mean, Cosby was great because it was like, hey, this might be my reality, but at least some Black people are doing well. At least that's, what we thought. But the powers that be understood that they were giving us a placebo so that we would not be able to really engage with what was going on in our community. And at that time, we didn't have the internet anyway, so we could see what was going on in our local community, but we didn't really, equate what was going on locally with what was going on nationwide within the Black community. Now, as of recent, because of the explosion of the internet, we're able to connect more. It's this illusion that so many of us have unfortunately been victim to, that has kept us in the community feeling very much isolated about our situations, feeling very much like, well, maybe there's something that I'm doing wrong as far as why my income isn't up. There's a lot that we do wrong, but then there's a lot that we don't do wrong that a lot of times we think because, or we have thought before the internet that we were doing wrong, because when we look on television, we see so many Black people that look like they're getting it right. I mean, after you had the Cosby Show, you had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that was in the 90s. And once again, you see affluence. You see poverty meets affluence. You see Will Smith's character coming in out of Philly, out of poverty, out of a single family home, a single parent home, and coming into the lap of luxury. Father, mother, brother, sisters, and they're living it up. And you see, once again, this approach being taken as though this is the regular way it is in the Black community, just not for you. And one day you can get there. You're facing individual situations, and if you tweak and change different things in your life, then you'll be famous too, or you'll be rich too, or you'll have a life of comfortability too. But even in the sense of what Yvette Carnell was addressing concerning the Cosby Show, I'm going to take it to the issue of these music puppets like Cardi B. A lot of people who have seen that she won these Grammys have commented on how Cardi B is not Black and how she is being used as a mixed breed, mixed race person to come in and to steal the culture. And I agree. Those genres of music were started by American descendants of slaves. We as a people, we are musicians. We are very creative. And part of the reason why we're very creative is because of our original identity. Because we are the Yehudim or Judah, we are the praisers. And y'all definitely need to understand that, because you'll when you start to put the puzzle pieces together, you'll be able to identify who you are on a much broader scale than just so-called African American. There is a distinction between us. But back to this issue of Cardi B, it's the same thing as Jennifer Lopez doing the tribute to Motown. They could have chosen any number of ADOS to do that tribute, but they chose this Hispanic woman to be the representation for our community. Now, on that alone, definitely, they need to be checked. Now, I'm going to flip this script a little bit when it comes to the issue of Cardi B and artists like her. Why she and them are a poison to our community. Because the wool is being pulled over our eyes with artists like Cardi B. Now, that wool has to do with the fact that Cardi B's music promotes fornication. It promotes adultery. It promotes lust. It promotes everything that will cause women and men in our community to see their base and animalistic nature to have sex with whomever, whenever, without consequence. You see, this is the issue that we're dealing with right here. The issue is this delusion that is pushed in front of us by Cardi B, by Jennifer Lopez, by Beyonce, by Nicki Minaj, by all of these artists that are puppets put in the position to keep us perpetually focusing on our animalistic qualities. Go out, get it, do what you want to do, have sex, get money, no consequences. You're going to live up life. And they know that that is not true. They know in their heart of hearts that this is a farce, because this is something that the hip hop culture, when it originally got started, was addressing the plight and the issues in the black community so that we can unify and realize that this nation has worked against us for such a long time and we've got to come together. But then you had a group of powerful people that came in that control the industry, and they became the lords over hip hop and R&B. These are your powerful media, and the media is controlled by Ashkenazi Jews, the same ones who take on our identity, because again, the word Jew means Judah, Yehudim means praise. They take on our identity. They are the people of Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, the synagogue of Satan. You know, Cardi B has some very interesting things to say concerning the industry that she is involved in. I want you to take a listen.
And if something happened to me, just know that the government try to kill me, because I'm just being real. America be trying to kill you. How do lettuce and how do fruits last so long out here? How? How does it travel from places to places and last so long? I don't believe it's organic. Like, I don't believe nothing here is organic. I feel like they trying to kill you.
Now, y'all got to be careful about the slickness of this, because on the one end, she's talking about, oh, if I come up missing, y'all know that the government did it. And y'all, they are watching to see what people are saying on the internet. They're watching because they want to see how much control that they still have over the population. This is all a part of the agenda. Don't get it twisted when you hear Cardi B sitting up there talking about, oh, there's so much wrong in America and the food and they're trying to kill us. She knows that they're trying to kill us. She understands that, but she is a part of the problem. It's not just with the food, and yes, the food is a major issue, but it's beyond that. It's about her promotion. There is an image that is set up. You see, we are people that are continuously told by Yah to build up and to tear down. And one of the things that he commanded extensively in the Old Testament was the tearing down of false idols, especially when it concerned sexual idols like Ashtoreth and the Baals. Because these sexually deviant spirits, these demons in these idols that were put up as statues in the shape of men and the shape of animals, all of these things that were put in front of the children of Israel were for the purpose of their downfall. Sexual sin is sin against yourself. When you commit sexual sin, when you fornicate, you are literally sinning against yourself. You're bringing about STDs, you're bringing about unwanted pregnancy, you're bringing about soul ties, you're bringing about all of the things that you don't want, that are destructive to yourself and into your community. But you have artists like Cardi B that do nothing but promote that. and at the same time tell you that the government is trying to kill you. Cardi B is a puppet. Cardi B is used to play both sides. And Cardi B is a double agent. Cardi B comes in like she cares about the people, like, you know, she knows what it's like because she comes from the streets and she was a stripper and she understands what it's like to be on the streets, and so she can speak our language. This is the language of ignorance. It's the same as the language that Kamala Harris used on the Breakfast Club to talk about why she's down with the black community, because she smoked a little bit of weed and listened to Tupac and Snoop in college. Not. But because she did that, so now I'm down with the brothers, I'm down with the sisters. Y'all have to understand the infantile ways in which we are being communicated to. And these are by the handlers that control them. The people that have stolen our identity say, hey, listen, we've studied black culture. We study them more than they study themselves. We know who they are because we took over their identity and we gave them a false identity. Hey, this is Ashonda coming to you for a brief minute to invite you to subscribe to my channel, as well as hit that notification bell so that you can get the latest content as soon as it comes out. Well, I hope you're enjoying today's discussion. Back to the podcast. We gave them an animalistic identity. So if you want to appeal to the black community, the true Hebrews, if you want to appeal to them, then you're going to have to appeal to them at their basis form, because this is how we've treated them. This is how we formed them. So what you're going to do, you're going to get on the Breakfast Club and talk about how much weed you smoke. What you're going to do, you're going to talk about having sex, Cardi B, and getting money from dudes. That's what you're going to talk about. Yeah, that no limit. That's it. Go out, have sex, get a bunch of money. So what do you have? You have a culture of women and men in our community that go base toward one another, trying to live that illusion, trying to live the illusion that you can have sex without consequences. You've got a whole group of young women today that they'll go out looking for a thug. Why? Because they want money. They want to have sex with dude because they think, oh, well, if I have sex with some thug, it's going to be great sex and then it's going to be a high lifestyle. This is what Cardi B has done to our community. This is what Beyonce has done to our community. This is what Nicki Minaj has done to our community, to have our young women out here thinking that they can just do whatever they want to do and that there's no consequences. But this is not reality. These are the young people. But you know, people in the age group of 30 to 45 are just as guilty. You know how many tweets I see talking about, oh, go get it, Cardi. Go get it, Cardi doing her thing. She got a Grammy. She got Grammys. Go and do your thing. How many times I scroll through Facebook and I see women in my age group that are applauding these artists and their foolishness? This is an epidemic, y'all. This is something that we are dealing with on a mass scale, on a mass level, and we have much work to do because there are so many idols within our community that must be torn down. There is no building up of our community. There's no faith, family in the future for our community when we're not dealing with these idols that are literally destroying us. So they gave us the Cosby show in the 80s, and where is Cosby sitting today? He's sitting in a jail cell. For what? They gave us an illusion of this man who was supposed to be such a great family figure, father figure, and he's sitting in jail today for rape allegations against white women. Y'all have to understand that they've never cared about us. We are the true people of the Most High, and because we don't see that we're the true people of the Most High, we continue to allow these people to puppet us and put before us taskmasters, slave drivers, turn around and appropriate our culture, steal it, and then put it in front of us as poison. Y'all, this isn't an insult to us. This is an insult. Do we even realize when we're being insulted? We're being insulted and assaulted at the same time. We have to wake up. We've got to shut down these systems that are against us. We don't just shut it down at the voting block. We got to shut it down while we sit around and we don't know what to do with our families. We don't know why our 12 and 13-year-olds are wilding out. We don't understand how this is being used against us. We talk about, oh, what's going on with my family? But yet, so many of our people are strung out and addicted to pornography. So many of our people are addicted to pornography. Church-going people are addicted to pornography. Homes broken up. Physical, emotional, spiritual abuse going on in our community. Homosexuality running rampant in our community. Nobody wants to deal with it. These are the idols that have been set up, the abominations that have been set up, and that we have to contend with. Because as long as we're allowing artists like Cardi B and Jennifer Lopez and Beyonce and Nicki Minaj to get away with it, and we're allowing them to get away with it if we're endorsing it and listening to it and tweeting about it and putting it on Facebook and applauding it and lending our eyes and our ears to it, dancing to it. You see Kamala Harris, before she talked about going on before she went on the Breakfast Club, talking about listening to Pac and Snoop, she put out a video with her publicist taking the video of her listening to Cardi B. This is what they think about us. This is how they're gonna win the black vote. This is angering. Y'all, we have to understand, these advertisers are counting on us viewing this stuff so that they can pay, so that the corporations can pay these television networks for 30-second ads, millions of dollars based on our viewership. It's all about viewership. And as long as we're viewing this thing, they're making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars at our expense. We talk about reparations and being able to come up economically. Well, coming up economically means shutting down the poisons that are stealing our economy. This is stealing our economy. Because by the time our children go out there listening to Cardi B, or by the time we go out there listening to Cardi B or artists like them, filled up with demonic spirits of lust and going out and having sex with people who we know we have no business having sex with. By the time we get through with doing all of that, we got to go to the doctor and see what STD we got. Do you know that the majority of people in our community are suffering from one type of STD or the other? STDs. So many people in our community are wrestling with this. Why? Because they believe the illusion. They believe the illusion that Cardi B put before them, that you can have sex and there's no consequences. There's always consequences. Many of us don't know, but a lot of these artists have STDs. A lot of these artists secretively have AIDS, and we don't even know it because they put so much makeup on them. They prop them up to make them look like they are just it and that they're everything. Do y'all realize that this is what they do? They promote every type of sin and yet put these artists up there like you could have whatever kind of sin that you want to have in your life and have abundance of wealth and prestige and glamour. This is the false narrative. This is the illusion that is pushed to our community. And it's pushed to every community, but it's specifically pushed to ours because our unity and coming together and seeing who we really are is devastating to the economic stability of the United States of America. It is devastating. If we wake up and realize who we are, we're not funding this foolishness anymore. They can't continue to sell us on all the poisons in our community. They can't continue to sell the cigarettes and the weed and the alcohol. And yes, I said the weed too. Y'all got to understand that in the last days that is a spirit, pharmakeia, is a spirit of witchcraft that is coming upon the whole world. We are there now. Many people in our community are bound by the spirit of pharmakeia because people like Cardi B, these artists promote that you can have sex, have drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that there's no consequences. And these people are dying secretly, devil worshiping, dying, secretly propping up an illusion so that you can die with them. Y'all, we got to wake up. We have to wake up. And so I have to address Cardi B, the poison in our community. I have to address her because if I don't address her and I don't address people like her, we're going to continue to cycle through this madness. And it's time to cycle out. It's time to stop circling around the same mountain in the wilderness. When do we get to the promised land? We don't get to the promised land until all of us are on code. And on code does not mean don't talk to white people. On code means stop destroying yourself. Stop allowing people to come in and paint an illusion for you and destroy your community. Get on real code. Real code is Yah's code. And his code says that you got to follow him and his word. And when you follow his word and you live in his truth, then you're going to be better for it. Do y'all know that people who live this illusion, by the time they're 35 and 40 and 45 years old, they've got a cake makeup all over their face. to appear young because sin makes you look old. So understand that all of the stress and the weight from trying to uphold the lie, the illusion, the idols, it's not worth it. Tear it down. Stop listening to these artists. Stop listening to them. Stop promoting them. You're giving them your energy. On a spiritual level, you're giving them your energy. When they can come on there and go Facebook Live or YouTube or Twitter, and they've got 1 billion hearts, you're giving them your energy. Don't give these idols your energy anymore. Tear down the idols. It's time that we do that as a community. We've got to tear down the idols. If we want to see our homes built up, our community built up, we have to tear down the idols and get back to the way Yah intended from the beginning, which is for us to look to Him and not to them. Well, I want to thank y'all for listening once again to Ashonda at Large, where we discuss faith, family, and the future of our community. Our goal is simple: change the world one womb and one family at a time. And I definitely want to hear from you. Please leave your comment down below in the comment section. Like and share this as well. Y'all, we're going to build up this channel. We're going to get this word out, because as long as it is day, we must work, because night comes when nobody is able to work. So we've got to do the work while we still have an opportunity to do so. As always, love yourself without hating your enemies. Until next time, y'all bless and shalom.